including a relaunch of the Silk Road itself, also run by someone calling themselves the Dread Pirate Roberts. And like its predecessor, the Second Silk Road also claimed a mandate of reducing violence and harm in drug transactions. The war was the agenda that truly united the community.
A huge reason why DPR put the website up and allowed the market to begin with and took the risk was because there needed to be a violence reduction in purchasing drugs, because it's going to happen. And the reason it's going to happen is because of the war on drugs. The violence isn't just from the people buying and selling the drugs. The violence is from the police departments and the federal agents prosecuting this war. And not to mention the horrendous violence that we commit overseas on people. I mean, we're the biggest bully on the planet when it comes to drugs.
By this time, statistics appeared claiming the First Silk Road had succeeded in its mission of reducing violence in the drug trade.
While I was with the Baltimore Police Department in the early 2000s, I had 2 city officers in uniform killed by drug dealers on the street. And there was a family of 7, a Dawson family on Preston Street. They were killed by one drug dealer in one night, mother, father, and 5 kids. And so as the years in the early 2000s start moving along, I'm continuing to think about this from a place of violence and beginning to realize that our policies of drug prohibition were actually counterproductive to public safety. The one thing that I signed on for to improve, to better public safety in our neighborhoods, was making it worse. And I found a large number of police officers and judges and criminal prosecutors and DEA agents and FBI who think the same way. If Baltimore moved from street corners to online services, oh my God, you know how many shootings, how many fewer shootings we would have every year, which equate to fewer homicides? Number one, it removes the buyer from the back alleys and from the street corners and from those dangerous places of dealing with the seller. Buying it over the internet where it's delivered to you removes you from that scenario. We're at this drug war now for over 4 decades. And what has happened since then? At the beginning, it was just the cartels and organized crime making a ton of money. Today, they make globally $322 billion off of this industry. Corporate America is also now in the game. Private prisons, okay, Corrections Corporation of America. About a year ago, they gave out $675 million in dividends to their shareholders. Drug testing companies, it's now become a multi-billion-dollar industry. And who gets tested? Those who are in prison or under the control of our criminal justice programs on parole and probation. So corporate America's making a lot of money. What about law enforcement? Law enforcement's making a ton of money. The government's 1033 program, you know, where we get armored vehicles and machine guns and whatever we want of the surplus military equipment, that's because of the drug war.
Over the years, we've seen these huge bureaucracies build up around the drug war, around prosecuting the drug war. You've got the Drug Enforcement Agency, you've got the Office of National Drug Control Policy. So a lot of the opposition is just rooted in self-interest among places like the FBI and the DEA, where if you're telling somebody who's been in the FBI for 30 years that drugs are no longer a priority, that's an existential threat to them. That kind of takes away their whole reason for existence.